Hi, and welcome to the last part of week 5, the Spanish course, introductory level. Today we're going to be talking a little bit about expressions that you can do with hacer, and from there it should be a short little lesson, and then we'll be able to finish up this week. I am recording all the rest of the videos today for the rest of the course session. We still have a few students that are really struggling to keep up, and we have a few students that are keeping up alright. So I'm going to be able to give you all the information then that we're going to have for the last couple weeks of class, and then you can finish it up as you're able, and we'll have a final test at the end, and that'll just depend on when you finish, and then we'll be able to go from there so that you can make sure that you can complete the class and get your certificate. So the best of luck to you as you're able to keep up. Those of you who are really struggling to keep up, you can slow down your pace a little bit. Those of you who are keeping right up then will be able to work as fast as you'd like to be able to get through the information. So, as I mentioned, today we're going to be working with expressions for hacer, which means to do or to make. Now, this verb doesn't get used in Spanish quite the same way that it does in English. It has different methods that it gets used, but one of the neat things about it is they use it a lot for making idioms or expressions. So we're going to go through a few of those if you've got your sheet out, and I'm just going to discuss them real briefly, and then we'll go through the practice sheet along with it, and I'll pronounce them as we go through so that you're able to practice a little bit. One of its first uses is with time. The word ago doesn't exist in Spanish. 2 days ago, 3 days ago. So when you want to express something that happened a few days ago, a few weeks ago, a few years ago, use the expression hacer, and you say hace, and then you would state the amount of time. So for example, hace 2 días would be it makes 2 days. In other words, 2 days ago. Hace 3 días, 2 days ago, or 3 days ago. Hace 2 años, 2 years ago. The next one we have, and this is very common, especially with the weather changes that we have in Michigan. You can't talk about weather without talking about the temperature. Hace calor. It's warm or it's hot. So as we're getting in, we've had a few hot days this last couple weeks. You can say hace calor afuera, and that means it's hot outside. Another expression that you can use, and there's a few more weather ones we'll use as we go down. I switched them up a little bit so we can kind of jump back and forth and you can kind of refocus. Hace mucho tiempo, a long time ago. Hace mucho tiempo, which again means it makes a long time, which you can kind of understand in English. Hace mucho tiempo, a long time ago. This next one, hacer caso, not at all like how we would use it in English. Hacer caso is to pay attention to something. So students, for example, paying attention to the teacher. To literally translate pay attention would not make any sense in Spanish. But you can say hacer caso, say me hace caso, and he, she, or it pays attention to me. Los estudiantes me hacen caso. The students pay attention to me, or they make case to me, as it would be in English. Hacer daño, to make or cause damage to something or to hurt. So you could say, for example, and this is a really good example, Taco Bell. My stomach never agrees with Taco Bell, so I can say Taco Bell me hace daño, which means Taco Bell to me makes damage or causes damage. Another one, hacer de cuenta. Okay, that's to pretend or act as though something else is happening. Haz de cuenta is kind of like to pretend that you were. So haz de cuenta que no lo has visto. Pretend that you have not seen her. That one's not quite as common, but it's good to know. Hacer de nuevo, to do it over again. So if you have to repeat an action, I have to do it again. Hacer de nuevo. So you could say, for example, tienes muchas respuestas incorrectas, tendrás que hacerlo de nuevo, which means you had a lot of too many mistakes or wrong answers. You'll have to do it again. Do it over. Hace buen tiempo. It's nice outside. Right now, as you can see, we're recording outside. It's really nice. The sun's shining, it's not too hot, it's not too cold, it's just perfect outside. Hace buen tiempo. So that means we've got good weather outside right now. Hacer burla. That's to make fun of or to make joke of. And that's generally in a mean-spirited kind of way. Just like it is in English if you're making fun of somebody. Esa chica estaba haciendo burla de tu vestido. That girl was making fun of your dress. Okay? Hacer burla. Now we're seeing a couple different weird verb conjugations with this. We're doing present progressive and a few things we haven't even seen yet. But I threw some of those in there again just to kind of get you looking at some of these things if you take Spanish class down the road. This is literally was making, in the process of making fun of your dress. Hacer falta. To be lacking something, to be missing something. So, me haces mucha falta. Me haces is to me, you in the to form. I'm lacking. Okay, you're lacking to me is basically what they're trying to come off here. But you can say that if you're trying to complete a report and you want to say, I'm missing the graph, or I'm missing the table for my report. Me hace falta la tabla. Me hace falta la tabla. And that means the table of chart of information is missing from my report. So that's a good, if you work at a library, if you work at an attorney's office, if you work in a doctor's office, if there's something that's missing, you're trying to get some kind of proof. Le hace falta la licencia. You're missing the license. Le hace falta la licencia. You are missing the license. Hace viento means it's windy. So we've said hace calor, it's hot. Hace buen tiempo, it's nice outside. Hace viento, it makes wind. It's windy outside. Hace fresco. That means it's cooler, it's fresher outside. Not necessarily saying that it's cold. So that would be in the morning when you step out and you realize, oh shoot, I need to put a sweater on. It's a little chilly. Hace fresco. Hace frío. That just means it's cold outside. You got to put a jacket on. Hacer una pregunta. In English we say I need to ask a question. The problem is the word for question and the word for ask are pretty much the same thing, so it would sound really redundant. It's like I'm going to question a question in Spanish if you try to say it that way. So they say I want to make a question, to make a question. So, puedo hacerle una pregunta, or le puedo hacer una pregunta. Can I ask you a question? That's a pretty common phrase that you might use. Next one, hacerse el tonto, to play dumb. Okay, hacerse is to pretend or to play, and it's reflexive, which we'll talk about a little bit later on. But hacerse el tonto is to pretend or play dumb like you didn't do something. No lavaste los platos, you didn't wash the plates, y ahora te haces el tonto. And now you're playing dumb, you're pretending to be dumb. Okay? The last one we're going to look at, hacer saber, to inform or to let me know. Okay, so in English we would say to make, let me know if you need help with something. In Spanish they say, me haces saber. The phrase we have there, debemos hacerle saber a nuestros padres que a qué hora regresamos. We must inform our parents what time we will get back, or should get back. So those are some expressions they use with hacer. There's a few more, but these are the more common ones, especially the ones that I would recommend you really focus on. Weather. Hace frío, hace calor, hace fresco, hace buen tiempo. Those do get used fairly frequently. You'll hear a lot of Spanglish people say, oh, está caliente afuera, and it's like it's hot outside. Yeah, but if you go down to Mexico or you go down to a Spanish-speaking country where there's not much English influence, you're not going to hear it. It's going to sound very weird to you and to the people that you're speaking with. So if you want to pull out your sheet real quick, I'm going to go over that. You have a practice sheet with hacer expressions, which is basically just very simple, taking the expression that we have written there and putting it into English. I'm going to read through them real quick just so that you can hear what they sound like and kind of repeat them in your head or out loud if you're by yourself. and then we'll move on to the next video. The first one, mi niño no me hace caso. Mi niño no me hace caso. The next one, me hace falta un coche. Me hace falta un coche. And coche is not coach, like a trainer coach. Just so you know. Hace frío afuera. Hace frío afuera. Quiero hacerte una pregunta. Quiero hacerte una pregunta. Hace 2 años. Hace 2 años. ¿Me hace saber usted el martes? ¿Me hace saber usted el martes? And the last one. Tengo que hacerlo de nuevo. Tengo que hacerlo de nuevo. I wrote down 2 lines below that just to try to come up with 2 expressions that you think, looking at that sheet we have with all the hacer expressions. There are some conjugations that are required with it, and hacer is a very irregular verb. So if you're just doing weather ones, you can keep it simple like that. But try to think a little bit outside the boxes. Are you ever in a situation where people need to pay attention to you? What do you find yourself saying? Please pay attention to things like that, and just try it and let me know what it is that you're trying to say and the expression that you're using, and I'll let you know if there's changes that need to be made or if that's the correct one to use. So that's it for this video. As I said, I'm going to get all of them punched out today for the rest of the class sessions, and so I will probably see you in a few minutes.